And for the children of Ishmael to come in the 7th century and turn back to one true God, that's mind-blowing. And that's greatness. That is a marvel. Now, there were many Jews in Arabia at the time, but as it turns out, for that to happen, in my view, is a marvel. You know, it's one thing I say to, I know you agree with me. If you come from a very religious family and you're religious, so all right. But you know, you come from a totally irreligious family, a family, God forbid, that are atheists or worship idols, and you give it up for one God and you serve him alone, and you bow to him alone. That's a much greater person. So I think what happened to the children of Ishmael is really a remarkable thing. And in Jewish tradition, the children of Ishmael will join the children of Israel of one accord, and we look forward to this grand moment quickly in our time.
Fantastic. Thank you. So then the greatness of Genesis 17 is fulfilled through the coming of the Ishmaelites back to the true God in the 7th century. Fantastic.
A rabbi sits across from a Muslim and says something shocking. He claims the rise of Islam in the 7th century was the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, that the descendants of Ishmael returned to the one true God, and that Muhammad fulfilled Genesis 17. It sounds profound. It sounds unifying. But there's just one problem. It's completely false. Because if we take the Torah seriously, if we look at what Genesis 17 actually says, this claim falls apart. The Torah is crystal clear. Genesis 17 verse 21 says it plainly. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you. Ishmael? God blesses him with nationhood, with wealth, with princes. But he explicitly says the covenant, the spiritual inheritance, goes to Isaac. Not once, not ambiguously, but directly and clearly. Rashi, the greatest Jewish commentator, says, the covenant belongs to Isaac, not Ishmael. The Midrash Rabbah adds, God said, I shall not exchange the covenant of Isaac for the merit of Ishmael. And Maimonides, even more direct. Muhammad was a false prophet, and Islam was only used by God to move history forward, not to fulfill his covenant. Historical facts crush the narrative. And here's where it gets worse for this rabbi's claim. There is no archaeological, historical, or rabbinic evidence that Jews ever lived in Mecca or Medina during Muhammad's time. Not in Jewish writings. Not in Roman records. Not in inscriptions. Nothing. The Quran mentions Jews, but that doesn't prove they were real Jews. In fact, many historians now believe those Jews were likely misidentified sectarians, or fabricated polemical figures inserted later. If Jews weren't even there, how could Islam be a return to a Jewish-rooted monotheism? And if Islam denies the Torah, rewrites the prophets, and replaces the covenant, how can any rabbi claim it fulfills Genesis 17? Simple answer, he can't. Not truthfully. The covenant is eternal. It belongs to Isaac. The Torah cannot be changed. No descendant of Ishmael, no matter how sincere, can overwrite what God himself established. The rabbi in that video wasn't quoting Torah. He was quoting wishful thinking. And in Judaism, truth is not negotiable.